Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive into Earth's medicine cabinet? Today we're tackling a common issue, reflux, and seeing if the age-old remedy of papaya really holds up.
Ooh, yeah, papaya. I like where this is going.
Right, it's one of those things you always hear about, but does it actually work?
Yeah.
Like, what does the science say? That's what we're here to find out.
Exactly. And papaya has been used for ages in so many cultures for digestion. And now science is really starting to dig into the why. It's pretty cool.
I know, it's like this whole natural approach is having a moment, and I'm here for it.
Me too. And it's so accessible. Like you can just grab a papaya at the store, no fancy ingredients needed.
Totally. Okay, so when we talk about papaya for digestion, we're talking about the whole fruit, or is there a specific part we should focus on?
Well, you can definitely enjoy the whole fruit. It's versatile. You can eat it plain, throw it in smoothies, salads, you name it.
Yeah, I love papaya in a smoothie.
Oh, yeah, so good. But the really interesting part is the skin.
The skin.
Yeah, the skin, people usually toss it out.
I do. I do.
Most people do, but that's where the magic happens. That's where you find these special enzymes called papain and papain.
Okay, we're back up. Enzymes.
Yeah, so enzymes, think of them like little helpers in your body. They break down stuff, and these particular ones, papain and papain, they break down proteins.
Oh, so they help with digestion because our bodies already use enzymes, right?
Exactly. It's like giving your digestive system an extra boost with these specific proteases.
Proteases, right. Those are the protein-breaking enzymes.
You got it. And, you've probably encountered papain before without even realizing it. It's used to tenderize meat.
Oh, that makes sense. Like
Yep.
breaking down those tough fibers.
Exactly. So it's kind of doing the same thing in your stomach, helping to break down proteins more efficiently.
Okay, so it's like these enzymes are little Pac-Mans chomping away at tough proteins, whether it's in a steak or in our tummies.
I love that analogy. That's perfect. And what's really exciting is that some researchers think because these enzymes are so good at breaking down protein, they could help with more than just like simple indigestion.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, there's some early research looking at their potential for things like celiac disease, IBS, even reducing inflammation.
Wow. Okay, so papaya is kind of a multitasker then.
Seems like it. And it's a good source of vitamin A from beta-carotene.
Okay, hold on. This is a lot of good stuff. But with all this talk about powerful enzymes, is it possible to have too much of a good thing? Like, are there downsides?
That is a great question, and it's always important to remember, just because something's natural doesn't mean you can overdo it.
Right, right. Everything in moderation, I get it.
Exactly. So first off, papaya skin contains latex, so if you have a latex allergy, definitely be careful.
Oh, good point. I wouldn't have thought of that.
And like you were saying, too much papain could potentially irritate the esophagus, so moderation is key.
So it's all about balance. Makes
Yeah.
sense. What about actual research on papaya and digestion? Like, has there been anything concrete to back up these traditional uses?
There have been some promising studies. For example, there was this 2013 study that looked at a papaya-based product called Caracol.
Caracol.
And they found it significantly improved constipation and bloating. Like, bloating was reduced by almost half in the participants.
Wow, that's impressive.
Right. But that particular study didn't specifically focus on heartburn.
So maybe not a magic bullet for heartburn specifically, but still promising for other digestive discomforts. What about other research? Anything on reflux or something similar to it?
Well, there's this 2018 study that looked at using papaya to help manage chronic gastritis, which is basically inflammation in the stomach lining.
Okay, so not exactly the same as reflux, but in the same digestive neighborhood.
Exactly. And what they found was pretty interesting. They found that papaya, when used alongside standard medical care, could actually be a safe and helpful complementary option.
Interesting. So working with, not against, conventional medicine.
Exactly. It's like a team effort. And it's a good reminder that natural approaches can often be part of a bigger picture when it comes to managing our health. So true. So much to think about. We've covered papaya's history, how those special enzymes work, potential downsides. But what does all this mean for our listener who is specifically dealing with reflux?
That's a great question, and one we'll definitely dive into after a short break.
Yeah.
It's interesting because even though we need more research specifically on papaya and reflux with it, the fact that it can help manage that inflammation in the stomach lining, like in that gastritis study,
Yeah.
it kind of suggests that it could potentially have like a soothing effect on the esophagus too,
Yeah.
right? Because they're both part of that same digestive tract.
Yeah, that makes sense. If it can calm things down in one area, maybe it can kind of work its magic further up too.
Right. And if it's helping to break down those proteins more efficiently, lower down, then theoretically that could also reduce the chances of food like irritating the esophagus in the first place.
Oh, that's a good point. Less irritation from the get-go.
Exactly. And remember those proteases we were talking about?
The protein breakers? Yeah, those guys, they're like little molecular scissors just snipping apart those long chains of proteins into smaller, more digestible pieces.
All of that visual. Protein scissors.
Right, it makes it so much easier to picture, and this basically eases the workload on your stomach and intestines, which, could have a ripple effect all the way up.
Interesting. So, like, less stress on the whole system.
Exactly. But I do want to touch on something you mentioned earlier. You were asking about if too much enzyme activity could backfire.
Yeah, like, could it mess with the balance in our stomachs?
That's a really good question, and it's why moderation and, really understanding your own body is so important.
Right, not just blindly chugging papaya juice all day.
Haha. No, not exactly. While these enzymes can be super helpful, too much of anything can overwhelm the system, right? Especially if you already have, a sensitive stomach.
Definitely, it's all about finding that sweet spot.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all.
And like you said earlier, it's always best to chat with your doctor before making any big changes. Especially if you're dealing with a medical condition, they can help figure out what's right for you.
Absolutely, 100%, because they can also help you consider other factors that might be contributing to your reflux, like your diet, stress levels, even some medications can play a role.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so many things to consider.
Yeah, it's rarely just one thing, so a holistic approach is always the best way to go.
Okay, so much to think about. We've covered papaya's history, those awesome enzymes, even some potential downsides. But I think what's really cool is this idea that something as simple as a fruit can have such a big impact on how we feel.
I totally agree. And it really speaks to this whole idea of Earth's medicine cabinet. Like all these natural solutions are out there just waiting for science to catch up and explain why they work.
I know, it's like we're just scratching the surface. Who knows what other secrets we'll find?
Right. And that's what makes it so exciting. There's always more to discover.
So speaking of discoveries, what's the main takeaway for our listeners today? What should they be thinking about as they consider papaya for their reflux?
Well, based on what we've learned, I'd say papaya, and specifically those enzymes in the skin, show some real promise for soothing digestion and potentially easing reflux symptoms.
Yeah, the research is looking pretty good.
It is. But, and this is a big but, it's not like a guaranteed cure, and it's super important to be mindful of potential allergies, the need for moderation, and always talk to your doctor.
Could not agree more. Knowledge is power.
You said it. The more we understand about these natural options, the better decisions we can make for our own health.
And who knows, maybe papaya will be just the thing someone needs to find relief.
It's definitely worth exploring.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the surprising power of papaya skin to those little protein-snipping enzymes. Pretty amazing stuff.
Right. It's like this whole hidden world inside of fruit.
I know, and it's not just about the science. It's also about that sense of taking control of your well-being, tapping into these ancient remedies that have been used for generations.
Exactly. It's empowering.
I love that. It's like rediscovering ancient secrets and combining them with what we know today to create a more well-rounded approach to health.
Exactly. And papaya is just one tiny example. There's a whole universe of natural remedies out there waiting to be explored. Who knows what other amazing things we'll find?
That's what makes it so exciting, always something new to learn.
And even though we focused on papaya for reflux today, those lessons about enzymes and digestion, they apply to so much more.
Yeah, good point. It really highlights how important it is to take care of our digestion. It's like the foundation for everything.
It really is. Like that saying, you are what you eat, but maybe it's more like you are what you digest.
Love that. So if you're out there listening and feeling intrigued by papaya, I hope this deep dive will inspire you to do a little exploring of your own. See what other natural remedies spark your curiosity.
Yeah, there's a whole world out there. Go for it.
Such a great point to end on. So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this papaya adventure. I hope you're feeling inspired to take charge of your health.
And remember, always approach natural remedies with a healthy dose of curiosity, a little bit of skepticism, and the guidance of a trusted healthcare professional.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep exploring Earth's medicine cabinet and all the amazing secrets it holds.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground today. From that surprising power of papaya skin to those little protein-snipping enzymes. Pretty amazing stuff.
Right. It's like this whole hidden world inside of fruit.
I know, and it's not just about the science. It's also about that sense of taking control of your well-being, tapping into these ancient remedies that have been used for generations.
Exactly. It's empowering.
I love that. It's like rediscovering ancient secrets and combining them with what we know today to create a more well-rounded approach to health. Exactly. And papaya is just one tiny example. There's a whole universe of natural remedies out there waiting to be explored. Who knows what other amazing things we'll find?
That's what makes it so exciting, always something new to learn.
And even though we focused on papaya for reflux today, those lessons about enzymes and digestion, they apply to so much more.
Yeah, good point. It really highlights how important it is to take care of our digestion. That's like the foundation for everything.
It really is like that saying, you are what you eat, but maybe it's more like, you are what you digest.
Love that. So if you're out there listening and feeling intrigued by papaya, I hope this deep dive will inspire you to do a little exploring of your own.
Yeah.
See what other natural remedies spark your curiosity.
Yeah, there's a whole world out there. Go for it.
Such a great point to end on. So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this papaya adventure. I hope you're feeling inspired to take charge of your health.
And remember, always approach natural remedies with a healthy dose of curiosity, a little bit of skepticism, and the guidance of a trusted healthcare professional.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep exploring Earth's medicine cabinet and all the amazing secrets it holds.